Greetings to the new Bhikkhunis in Bodh Gaya. Congratulations for your ordination. This is the first time that UTBSI actually hosted and organized this very important ordination that actually happened in Bodh Gaya. I would like to share with you today the topic on Sikkhamana. In Buddhism, we have two different kinds of ordination. First one is papacha in Pali. Papacha means the ordination, so that the person, the candidate, becomes either samanera or samaneri according to their gender. Samanera can be any age. If they are older than 7 years old, in the text it says that if they know how to drive away the crows, that is how we can accept them as samaneri or samanera. And then the higher ordination, or the full ordination is known as upasambhada. Upasambhada to become bhikkhu or bhikkhuni. Now I would like to talk about Sikkhamana. Sikkhamana is in between samaneri and bhikkhuni. Sikkhamana, I would say, they are intensive samaneri. So that is, Sikkhamana must be a samaneri first. They must have received papacha to become samaneri. Now, the requirements for Sikkhamana as different from samaneri. First of all, she must be at least 18 years old. And the announcement, and after announcement of Sikkhamana, she has to be with her teacher, be with her bhikkhuni teacher for 2 vasas. And then her bhikkhuni teacher will arrange for her full ordination. Now, during these 2 years, 2 vasas, that she has to be, apart from being samaneri, which means she takes 10 precepts, and she also observes 75 Sekhiya rules. Sekhiya rules are those monastic rules just simply for good manner. Among the 10 precepts that she takes as a samaneri, the first 6 she must not transgress. If she transgress any one of them, then she has to start counting again the time that she must be trained as Sikkhamana. The Sima. As a samaneri, you can be ordained anywhere. Your teacher can accept you to become samaneri anywhere. Could be in this hall, could be in a classroom, could be in any building. But as Sikkhamana, you must be announced, this Sikkhamana must be announced within the Sima. So these are the requirements as different from samaneri. After 2 vasas, after you have been trained as Sikkhamana for 2 vasas, then your teacher, your bhikkhuni teacher, will be the one who actually arrange for you to have full ordination. In the Vinaya, it explained about the seating. The seating, it goes like this, from higher to lower. Bhikkhunis, Sikkhamana, and then samaneri. So this fits in our understanding that Sikkhamana are actually intensive samaneri. So they are higher. Their seating is higher than the samaneri, but lower than the bhikkhunis. So they have not yet received full ordination, but they have received papacha, just like samaneri. But these last 2 years, last 2 vasas, that she must be trained intensively. So this is Sikkhamana. This is in the text. This Sikkhamana is in the text. Now, in the Bhikkhuni Patimokkha, 311 rules, 311 rules in Patimokkha. Out of these, 15 of them deals with Sikkhamana. So that shows how important it is that we have to introduce Sikkhamana in the present situation. Now, after full ordination, then a newly ordained bhikkhuni is trained under her teacher, under her can be her Pavatini, but sometimes her Pavatini is not available in different countries. Sometimes her Pavatini will assign that she will be following another senior Bhikkhuni teacher elsewhere. Now, she has to take Nisaya. Take Nisaya for 2 years. To take Nisaya for 2 years, it means she has to follow her teacher. She has to be with her teacher, has to follow her teacher for 2 years. And after ordination, this living within a Sangha, living within a community of Bhikkhunis is very important. That's why for UTBSI ordination, we are very concerned that once when you are already fully ordained, once when you have already received full ordination as Bhikkhunis, you must be living in a Sangha. You must be following your teacher. You must take Nisaya for 2 more vasas. Now, coming back to Sikkhamana, when we started the ordination, full ordination of the Bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka, way back in 1998, the first batch of the Sri Lankan nuns received full ordination from Sarnath, from both Gaya and then Sarnath. Then they came back to Sri Lanka, 20 Bhikkhunis. Among this number, 2 of them were appointed as Pavatini. They were appointed by the Bhikkhu Sangha. So they are our teachers, so to say. When you talk to the Bhikkhunis in the modern era, most of them you would find that they have teachers coming from this batch of the 20 Bhikkhunis who received ordination in 1998. At that time, once when the ordination was taken back to Sri Lanka, since 1998, the Sri Lankans still give ordination from seminaries. You remember the situation in Sri Lanka is different from other countries. In the whole island, they had something like 2,500 Dasasil Matas. Dasasil Matas, they are the local nuns wearing already saffron, but they do not wear the jivara yet. This first batch of 20 Dasasila Matas who were chosen, I would say, who were selected from the larger group of Dasasil Matas to receive ordination in Bodh Gaya. They were allowed, in spite of the fact that they were not seminaries, but they have been Dasasila Matas. Some of them, they have been Dasasila Matas for 30 years, 40 years, So this first batch of 20 Dasasil Matas who went to receive full ordination, they were not even seminaries, but they received full ordination right away. So when they came back, they still considered giving full ordination from seminary. This did not happen. This Sikkhamana, the introduction of Sikkhamana actually happened in Thailand. The very first person who received Sikkhamana announcement happened in the year 2009 in Thailand. I have to give you background. For people who seek full ordination, the Thai bhikkhus, they ask whether she had been Sikkhamana before. So when this question came up, we considered we had to go back to the text, as we didn't have Bhikkhunis in our country, not in Thailand and not in many other Southeast Asian countries. The bhikkhus, I'm coming back to Thailand, I have to be grateful to the Thai bhikkhus, the learned ones, particularly the one that I approached. He was actually acting Sangharaja. At that time, he was acting Sangharaja, Somdet Chuang of Wat Pak Nam. He told us that, in order to become Bhikkhunis, you start from seminary, then Sikkhamana, then Bhikkhunis. So this path of becoming Bhikkhunis is not easy. Are you ready? Are you willing? So I told him that actually we did introduce Sikkhamana already. And also in the south, in Goyo, those seminaries who receive seminary ordination, they already spent 1 vasa as seminary. Towards the end of the vasa, they were asked by the local monks who were learned scholars in Gokyo, in the southern part of Thailand, whether they are planning to become Bhikkhunis. And if they are planning to become Bhikkhunis, they should take the right step, that is to become Sikkhamana. This is when we really started to consider Sikkhamana very seriously. And that's why we came up with introducing Sikkhamana in Thailand. The first one was 2009 and then 2014 in Gokyo. Why 2009? Because the Bhikkhunis themselves, the Thai Bhikkhunis themselves were just newly formed. The one who received Sikkhamana pronouncement as Sikkhamana in 2009, as we had to depend on the Bhikkhuni Sangha. So the very first batch of the Bhikkhunis in Thailand, we recruited them from different aramas. One in one arama, one in another arama, like that. We gathered at least 5 of them, and that was how we were able to pronounce the first Sikkhamana in my temple in the year 2009. And I think we are coming along in Vietnam. I think Venerable Li Phap also introduced Sikkhamana in the training of her students. So as we studied more and more about the Bhikkhunis, about the passage of the Bhikkhunis, and about the procedure to come up to Bhikkhuni ordination, so that's why we introduced Sikkhamana. So I think it is proper. It is proper if we are able to introduce Sikkhamana also in our Sangha. But for Sri Lanka, I actually have been able to be writing and give information about Sikkhamana, that what we have studied, and write to Mahanayakas. But the trouble I have with Sri Lanka is the language barrier. I am not sure whether I am really able to get in touch directly with them, but I did send my request for the Sri Lankan Sangha to consider making announcement for Sikkhamana for those Samaneris who are willing, who are serious in their path to become Bhikkhunis. So 2 verses before they become fully ordained, that they should, maybe the Sangha would consider announcing them, pronouncing them as Sikkhamana before they receive full ordination. So this is my understanding about Sikkhamana. Thank you.